Well, it's one of those cases when you think that you do good and you actually do worse. You know, it was a little bit confusing to me what exactly happened, just because these fish, they have been living for a rather long period of time together, and they had no obvious problems with with kind of serious conditions or anything. Before, yes, one guppy female, she had some sort of injury or something, and it was definitely because she got bumped into something. As you know, after giving birth to some baby guppies, I thought and noticed that maybe she was a little bit under stress, but after some time it was okay. And then straight after I added this Albendazole to fight planaria, a lot of changes happened. So, as you probably know, I probably told you already, this tank has some planaria. And usually planaria is more or less okay. I mean, there are different opinions about whether it's alright to have planaria in a tank or not. So, planaria, these are the types of worms. These are flatworms, and they can be as big as 2 centimeters in an aquarium, or maybe even more. So, for the past 3 months or so, I have seen about 6 of them in this tank, and once I saw 4 at the same time at night. Then they disappeared, but I'm not sure if they are hiding in the substrate or maybe they just stopped spawning. I have no idea, and for that purpose I need to check it, and this is the reason why I want to add some treatment in order to get rid of them. And the best treatment I could find is this antibiotic stuff, which is called Albendazole. And we probably need like 1/3 of a pill for this 5-gallon tank, and this will be pretty enough. And after 1 day of adding this in the form of a powder, we will see what happens, because usually planaria die and all the other worms that can be in a fish tank, which is usually a norm for an aquarium, like they die in 24 or maybe maximum 48 hours, and then later we need to change like more than 50%, probably better 50% of water, just because when they die there is a lot of ammonia produced, and we don't want that, of course. Fish started to produce a lot of slime. There was some spots on them, kind of white or grayish spots, and they didn't feel well. Their fins and mouths, this was covered in some sort of cotton, or some sort of slime, around. And for me, the first thing that I suspected, to be honest, these were 2 things. At first I thought that it was neon tetra disease. And no, because when you have a neon tetra disease, first of all, it is more noticeable on neon tetras, obviously. And when it happens, usually it starts to be very slow, and fish, they lose color, just step by step. But the first thing is, under the skin of a fish, you see some more or less obvious white spots. It looks like the fish starts losing its color from the outside, and it's more obvious on the top of the body of the fish. And I didn't see these symptoms, like they didn't look like that. So this is not the case. The next suspicion that I have, it was maybe columnaries. No, because when you have columnaries, you have a lot of cotton like stuff, and you know, you can see each scale covered with it on the fish. And also there is a lot of this cotton, or maybe like white wool, on the front top of the body of any fish, let it be a guppy or neon tetra, whoever. And no, you know, it wasn't this case. And my guess, my best guess from all that what happened is, when I added albendazole, maybe I overdosed it. And when you overdose any antibiotic, you know that even if in the right dosage, it creates a lot of problems to the tank, no matter if it is big or small or anything. First of all, yes, a lot of these bad things, they die out, like let's say planaria, because it's kind of against planaria or any other worms. So this medicine treats it, and when these worms die, you know, the water becomes very dirty. As you know, this stuff, this bio stuff, it starts to disintegrate. And because of this, ammonia increases a lot. And when ammonia increases in the water itself is poisonous already. And my guess is there was some pathogenic bacteria in the water, because there is always some amount of it. And fish are usually, they have immune system to fight this, and also water changes help, because they help to contain all that to an appropriate level. So when I added albendazole, this level, all this created like kinda, you know, disbalance in the tank. And maybe all that pathogenic bacteria that was there, it didn't die because of albendazole, because it's not an antibiotic, yeah? So they started to reproduce very quickly, and that's what happened. You know, it's maybe, probably, most likely a bacterial infection, you know. And first of all, it starts to be external, like fish start to you know, to produce a lot of slime, their fins rot, and it looks like it. And the best treatment that you can have in this case is to, you know, get fish in some safer place like this, you know, quarantine box with fresh, clean water, you know, with the right good temperature, like about 24, 23 degrees, maybe even 25 degrees of Celsius, which is around 73, 75 Fahrenheit. So, and adding some antibiotics in this case, and a little bit, you know, considering the amount of water here. So in here we have just a little bit of erythromycin, and I use erythromycin to treat a lot of fungal infections, for example. And this looks like fungus, looks like bacterial infection in the form of a fungus. So, and I had fungus before, I'll tell you honestly, and I kept fighting it using erythromycin. This is my favorite antibiotic for that case, because I noticed that any other drug, like let's say Bicillin or any other antibiotic, they do not work that well. They usually only make things worse, like ammonia increase or something. So I use erythromycin, especially when you have a quarantine tank. So this works really well. I like it. I didn't complain. I mean, like, it's more or less mild, you know, medicine, mild remedy, especially when you use it in the right dosage. So it's always, you know, we always need to be cautious about dosing that stuff. You know, it's better to underdose than overdose, in my opinion, according to this experience. So here is the result of today. As you see, I have escaped a little bit. It cannot be called escape. It's just like I replanted something and you know, clean stuff, and I put the guys back there, and they look relatively fine, I guess. So we'll see. We'll keep monitoring after the treatment. They look better after the treatment, I guess. Maybe a little bit under the weather, but I'll keep monitoring and also see how they behave in this water. This should be okay, because it's like the third time of water change, almost 80%. So it should be like, you know, relatively fine with water. But planaria gone 100%, I guess. I haven't seen anything yet. So thank you very much for watching this vlog. It was a little bit of adventure and not the most pleasant. So okay, we'll see you next time, and I'll keep updating on what is happening, you know, around, especially in this aquarium, because it's like the oldest, you know, of my aquariums. I mean, I settled it like this, and it's been like maybe 1.5 years almost. So, you know, that's why I'm, you know, a little bit upset. But if it happened to any other thing, I would be, of course, upset as well, as much as I was, you know. You know, we'll keep just looking at everything and keep an sharp eye on conditions and everything. So that's why, you know, when you have a fish tank, and you need to be very careful about adding any chemicals, because they really affect water in a very surprising and sometimes negatively, of course, surprisingly. So that's why, you know, this is one of the rules of thumb. So thank you very much again for watching. Stay safe, and see you in the next episode.